So hello friends, today we'll be reviewing the Oracle Database Upgrade Guide for 19C. And so let's hear. This is from the Oracle documentation. Okay, so we'll be reviewing the same. And we'll go it fast because the page numbers are big and I will try to complete in like 40 minutes. That's my target. So I will just focus on the important things and I would be keep on telling up in the fastest possible way. So the first thing as you go in the document that there is an database. Let me increase this. Okay. Database tools and process. What is the difference between upgrade and migrate? And that needs to be known. And what are the methods? What are the release supports? And the latest information, how could you find? What are the major steps in the Oracle database integration? What is the difference between compatibility and interoperability? And what is how do you read the database release version? What is the convention used here? That's not important for in terms of this. Okay, so you need to understand what is a compatible parameter and how do you decrease and this thing, and then checking the compatibility level. What is the interpretability for the Oracle database about invalid objects and database upgrades, Oracle old security policies, and then how do you upgrade database in a multiple on a separate computers. Then multiple Oracle on the same computer. What is the optimal flexible architecture? What is all this thing? And there is an option to convert your database during the upgrades. And about upgrading using about upgrading using the standby databases, migrating from the standard to the enterprise editions, and migrating from. So there is also an option to migrate from this. This is not sometimes we do it, and migrating from this to Oracle database, and then how do you upgrade the database to the new Oracle database platform? Okay, and then how do you transport the different objects and image based thing. Then the first step is like you have to prepare your database to upgrade. So before you do it, you need to follow certain tasks, which is like first to become familiar with the new Oracle database release, choose an upgrade method. You can do with the auto upgrade utility, graphical user interface, manual, export import, and then you choose a new location when upgrading, develop a test plan, test your do you upgrade testing, minimal testing, functional testing, high availability testing, and the integration testing, performance testing, okay, and volume and a load testing, test plan, schema only, backup your file and prepare a backup strategy, Oracle data guard, exporting broker. Then you have some pre-upgrade tool checklist on your new databases, okay. Then you install the new Oracle database software for Oracle RA database preparation task to complete before starting Oracle upgrade, patch set update and requirement for upgrading the Oracle database, copying transparent encryption Oracle wallet, and then recommendation for Oracle Net Services, understanding the past sensitivity, checking for accounts using the case sensitivity, running upgrade with read-only, high availability option for Oracle, and then preparing for Oracle RAC to Oracle One, requirement for using the standard Oracle High non-CDP upgrade and Oracle Grid, preparing the database or with all using Oracle Data Guard, preparing for new Oracle Home, prerequisite what you do in it about auto upgrade, then example of auto upgrade, checking the upgrade configuration, auto upgrade testing, okay, requirement for reading that Oracle audit table, this, okay, using then this section talks about the using the auto upgrade for the Oracle database upgrade, checking for data supported version or source and target. Auto with the okay, so this thing auto upgrade with the source and target home on the same server, typical, and source with a different server. So generally typical means like most of the time you will get the same configuration where you need to upgrade your database on the same machine with your source and the target. Okay, then auto upgrade messages pausing. What is the job ID stages, operation and stands, and auto upgrade processing modes. What are the processing mode? Analyze, fix up, deploy. UP you can AFD. So basically it's analyze, then it fixes and deploy and upgrade. Okay. So what is happening here? We will talk as we reach understanding the okay, understanding the auto upgrade workflow in stages, understanding non-CDB with auto upgrade command line. So the thing is like for 19C, you have to use an auto upgrade. That is the industry standard, which takes care of most of the things. Basically, it analyzes, then it fixes up, then it deploys, and then it's upgrade. And auto upgrade utility configuration file, global parameter, locally modify auto upgrade with database configuration, Oracle RAC requirement for upgrade and auto upgrade process flow for Oracle grid, non-CDB and CDB upgrade, auto upgrade configuration file, whatever internal setting, log file structure, full deployment, enable how to use console, how to override default local configuration file, fix up checklist, proper management and auto upgrade, Windows CLI and CLI. Okay. Now, go to the section 4 where we see upgrading Oracle Database Manual using the parallel upgrade utility. So, Okay. So, okay, option for rerun the entire upgrade for the CDB, upgrade only for specified CDB, rerun for PDB online, then review the CDB log files, procedure for finding and this thing upgrading manually using the Caterpillar DB upgrade. General, this is the oldest standard using the parallel upgrade utility, parallel this thing example with the parallel upgrade utility. About Oracle, okay, scenario. What are the different scenarios you can? This is the talking. So database upgrade, upgrade a proxy database, multi-container database, PDB using the parallel thing, using the priority incursion exclusions, multi-tenant architecture in parallel, upgrading in parallel, multi-tenant in parallel, upgrading multi-tenant architecture. You can do using the plug and play. Plug database sequentially release PDB, earlier release PDB, the latest release, earlier PDB, the later release. Okay, so these are the different options here. Then how do you do it using the command line utility? Okay, and then transporting is a full export and import. Okay, moving to next, then you have to download. How do you download the latest Oracle database? How do you adapt a non-CDB as a PDB, adopting this thing? Then Oracle label security migration. Then troubleshooting. How do you troubleshoot the upgrade process? Running the DB with a different OMIA. And these are the scenario: invalid objects warning and the DB registry error, invalid objects and the premature use of PostgreSQL tool, resolving Oracle database upgrade, script termination, troubleshooting causes of resource limit error while upgrading Oracle database, resolving SQL plus additions, error maximum number of the process exceeded by fixing this, resolving issue with the CDB Java policy containing upgrade after service restart component, understanding component status with the post upgraded component on and off. Example of a standardization, Oracle ASM, Oracle this thing. Okay. Post upgrade, what are the past set requirement? Check the upgrade with the post stats. How to store the current state of the Oracle dictionary. Required tasks to complete after upgrading this is setting up the environment variable, recompiling all inventory object, recompiling all inventory on the multi-tenant architecture. Okay. Track invalid this thing setting or a JavaScript, check PL/SQL packages, updating table and dependent, enabling the new extended data, adjusting minimum and maximum with the parallel execution, about recovery catalog, upgrading test strategy, upgrading assembly, this thing, upgrading the FTP. Install Oracle Text Supplier, rebuild Oracle, upgrade Oracle Express, replace the demo directory, configure account access control list, enabling Oracle Database Vault, upgrading Oracle databases, common upgrade scenario with this thing, backup the database. These are the best practices to complete after upgrading, running post gathering dictionary stats, recreating the fixed object stats, reset the password, finding and resetting user 10G version, understanding Oracle, this. Oracle upgrade as this in new feature, develop new administration process, migrating from a rollback segment to automatic undo, migrating tables from the long data type to the log, migrating your upgraded architecture to use unified auditing, understanding unified migration, unified auditing, then managing earlier audit record after you migrated. Okay. Now then removing the unified auditing firstly obtaining the document identify Oracle data, dropping and recreating DBM cellular transfer this thing, transferring unique. So let me pass this thing. I think okay, let's go with the sections. Okay, upgrading application after upgrading. This is the 7 sections here, and downgrading to an earlier release, and then these are the options here, and these are the different scenarios which you can do it. Okay, migrating using the data pump, and these are the data pumps options. I think this is the most like standard we do it. Behavior changes and a de-supported feature, what are the features that has been deprecated and what are this thing. And so it is like a more specific to functionalities, and as a DBA it's not actually feasible to remember these. Trust me, even if you know it, that's fine. Okay, Oracle database, this is looks like this is an appendix, upgrading with the Oracle this thing. So you can use a graphical user interface to do it, and then there are options, and suddenly you can directly check here rather than scrolling through the. So yeah, I think this is the preface. We need not have to, and okay, this is not important. Let's come to page number intro. Okay, what is the okay? Major, so we will be talking about the major steps and what is the difference between compatibility and interoperability, running Miracle OFA, converting Oracle database during upgrades, about new Oracle database and image based. Okay, so see, upgrade means that you are upgrading from 12c 19c. Migration means that you are moving the database from the 12c to 12c in another servers, or from 12c to 19c. Okay, then there are about the different release support, latest information. Okay, so upgrade and method. So you can use this a DBUA, You can do the manual. You can use Oracle Data Pump. You can use a create table as. Then you can upgrade using the priority list for the CDB and a PDB. Or else you can what you can do, you can first upgrade in a role by manner using that when the active data guard is enabled. First you can upgrade the standby database, and then you can use okay, golden get to synchronize the upgrade database as a zero time activity. Then you can use a fleet and patching to upgrade your database. This is used known as this is also known as the rapid home provisioning. And what it does, like a DBA deploys the instance of the gold image to the server that have earlier released database that you want to upgrade. So a DBA deploys instead of that golden image to servers that have earlier released. Okay, so basically what happens, like a DBA will deploy an image of a 90C databases onto a server which needs to be upgraded. After deployment of these golden image, DBA can run RHPCTL command. So basically this is the RHP rapid home provisioning control command to move files binaries. Okay, and perform others to the new binaries. Okay, that support direct, you can perform a direct upload. It means if you're on this you can go to 19c, if you're on this you can go to 19c, if you're on this you can go to 19c, and if you're on this you can go to 19c. Okay, that's what it is. And so if you are on a okay 12.10, 11.20, 11.1, 11, so this is not supported. So what you need to do, first you need to go to, let's say, 12.1.0.2. So if you see here for, okay, you can go to here, and then from here you can go to 19c. Okay, this is where. Okay, so where do you find your you can go to my Oracle support, and you can get your latest informations. Okay, so this is the overall flow. First is you prepare for the upgrade, then you test your upgrade process. So basically what you do, you prepare for the, get the basic information and basic string. Okay, we'll see. Then you test the upgraded test database. Then you prepare and preserve the production database, upgrade the production database, and then you tune and adjust it. Okay, so this is the highlight here, that become up and upgrade method, Oracle home directory, backup strategy, pre-upgrade recommendation. Then you test the upgrade process for Oracle database. Then you perform a test upgrade using a test database, conduct the test upgrade database and all those things. Then test the upgraded database, that is the detail, and then you prepare your prod database, basically the pre-prod and all that. And you can define a basic steps what you do it, and then you upgrade it and then you tune it. Okay, then compatibility means what it is. Like compatibility means, like in 11.204 there is a feature, 5 features, and at 12c there are 12 features. So out of 12, 5 would be a subset. So the thing is, compatibility means like your application is connecting to 11.204 getting testing, but in 12c either it is deprecated or it is enhanced. So you need to know that whether these features are enabled or not. If you don't do it, then it will create a problem after upgrade. So interoperability, you can the binaries will work with the different databases. So what is the, see, before you review compatibility earlier accredited with the new is a part for upgrade plans. Okay, what is interpret is the ability of the different release operator to communicate and work in a distributed environment. So if you're in a data warehouse, or if there is a DB link, basically the DB link part, so you should be able to connect from 12 to 11G and 11G to 12C vice versa. Okay, what is the release number? So this is the release number, this is the release update version, this is the release update revision version, this is the results of future use, and this is yes, this is the release the date of RU. So basically the first number is the database version, second release version, third is the release updated version, fourth in the increment version, and this was the future use. Okay, what is the Oracle database compatibility? Okay, understanding this thing. So your database becomes compatible with under the following condition. New feature stores any data on disk that cannot be processed with your earlier release, including data recent generation. An existing feature behave differently as compared to the old environment. Okay, so the recommendation is once you do your upgrade test, then you change the compatible parameter. Okay, so value is 19.0.1, and so these are the condition. Okay, PDB compatible equal to this thing. Results no change in parameters lower than this. The result is increase automatically the same parameters after you plug in. You cannot downgrade the PDB to another. Here releasing the PDB cannot be plugged in. Only PDB with compatible setting equal to lower can be plugged in. So basically, the PDB with the lower parameter is plugged in, and once it is plugged in, the compatibility parameter gets changed. Okay, so okay. these are the conditions you do not have to you do not have to yeah, you do not have to mention here. So how do you check this parameter? You can check with the value v dollar parameter, okay, or so parameter compatibility, okay. And interoperability is like, okay, let's read this. Or saying, okay, this is the one, and this is okay. I mean to say, generally it's not, I mean, distributed and can compare different organ and also put it can participate in the distributed system. So you do not need to you do not need to remember this, something like this, okay. About invalid objects. So what do you mean by invalid schema objects? So invalid schema objects are like basically procedure views triggers. So what it means, like, these are written to process some batch jobs and all those things, and they depends on certain conditions based on one table inside it. And when it is invalid, it means that if you run the procedures, it will not be able to run because some part of the things are missing. Okay, so we need to take a note of it. Okay, what is the number of invalid, and either we can compile it, drop it, or recreate it, or rework on the definitions of it. Okay, that process system load available physical memories. Okay, the utlrp.sql command recompiles all invalid object. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, it compiles all invalid object in Oracle, so it is found in the RDMS admin directory. After upgrading Oracle data, Oracle OLAP data. Okay, so this thing generally for OLTP you do not need to remember. And what is Oracle Optiflex? So it is a tree structures, where Oracle, it is designed by Oracle, where you do it will take care of, it will help in managing the software. So these are the benefit that gets provided, which is like large amount of complicated, so you have in time and simplify the Oracle that helps element fragmentation, database administration. So you can put in the multiple home and a separate computer. Then there are options. This thing, okay, okay. So this is normal. Let's generally, I have not seen in this practical life that during the upgrade you convert the databases. It will be done in a two separate process. It cannot be done. I have not seen there is a feasibility. Okay. So you have there are two methods to convert non-binary multi-line Oracle database using several different technologies you can use. Okay, you can perform a rolling upgrade of database by using Active Directory or by using Cloud Control. Then you can review standard edition to enterprise. I have not seen these or enterprise to edition. So generally, when you work for an organization, it will be most of the time a standard edition. So let's not cover those which are not a part. So how do you convert a non-CD to DB for a web? With this option, you plug in your non-CD relative to the same release CDB. For example, plug in your non-CDB Oracle database release 18c to an Oracle database 18c release. Finish converting the non-CDB Oracle database to BD. Okay, the thing is like first you plug in and then you convert it. Simple. Okay, with this option, you plug in a non-CDB to an Oracle database, upgrade the plugged-in non-CDB, then finish converting the non-CDB Oracle database to a PDB. Upgrade the plugged-in non-CDB Oracle database, then finish converting the non-CDB Oracle database to, okay. So simple, you can do this. I don't think these are like just additional info. And yeah, so let's move fast. And this is not required. So I don't say that you read this. And let's move here. Okay. So, okay, so this is one thing. You can query v dollar transportable underscore platform and to see whether whether that the source and the targets are supported in the cross relevant data transport. Okay, image base. Okay, preparing to upgrade. Okay, tasks to prepare. So let's review these sections here. Um, okay, the first thing is like you become familiar with the new Oracle database structure, then you choose your upgrade method, then you choose the new location for Oracle Home, then you choose your test plan, and then schema only you can upgrade expired backup files to preserve. Become familiar with the Oracle database features. So what are the features you have? Just remember it, and you have an option to change the auto upgradability, graphical user rate, manual, or export. So most of the time I've seen auto upgrade, and what it is analyze. Yeah, so these are the options you can still follow, and you can do the manual, and okay, and then you can put an export and import. So export import, basically what happens, you have already 19c up and running in a separate home, and then you take a backup and then restore it. Yes, for this I think in the same server it becomes a bit difficult because you need to copy and okay, so you need to copy it, so it becomes difficult. But if you go for um, another server, you can do an export import because you need additional space and all those things. So so it goes like that way, and yeah. So let's move to next minimal testing. Then you have to understand what is RTO and RPO. So RTO is the recovery time objective. So what is the minimum time you can take to recover the infra or the database, and RPO is a recovery point of the how much data loss can be sustained in order for these are mainly the parts of the SLA. Okay, then you go a performance testing on upgraded. You can run an SPA. Okay, so what is that SPA does? Basically, what happens like in your source, you generate an SPA report. These are basically the set of the SQLs in your environment, and it will have the stats. And you import these things into your new environment, and it will give you the and when in the final steps you generate a report. So it will give you how many SQLs are get will regress, whether it will be an improvement or will it be a decrement based on the initialization parameter environment variable of the environment. So this is important. So you can also do database replay and perform, and you can also have a SQL plan management. So SQL plan management is a feature of the Oracle database where this utility maintains a list of the good SQL hash values for a particular SQL, and it helps. So yeah, use the database perform the real world testing of the database upgrade on your production before actually upgrading the production. Your database feature captures the actual database workload on a production system and replays it on the test system. Database replay also provides analysis and reporting to highlight potential problem, for example errors encountered, divergence in performance, and so forth. In addition, all the regular enterprise manager performance monitoring requirements such as ADDR, AWR, and everything. So the thing is like database replay is like as in a database replay. So replay means like you're replaying the things. Okay. So not on the actual system, you are doing the so live and replay. So basically what it means is like in the live you act it, and in the replay you basically run the recorded live version. So what actually happens here is like that you capture the workload of the prod databases and then import those into the test environment, and then you get to know how the database will perform after I upgrade the database. Okay, then SP as I told, and then okay, we will discuss SQL plan management. This is a very important thing. You should know it. And yeah, okay, let's move volume and a load stress. So okay, you can also do a volume and a load test. You this thing. So there is a plan how to do it, and if you have to consider it, and you can apply the same thing. And before upgrading your domain, if you want to use the password authenticate to default Oracle data and their password, okay, this is the during. Okay, so I think the best is to use the auto upgrade. All right, it will do the analyze, then it will do the fix, it will do the deploy, and then it will do the upgrade. Okay. So the best is this. Prepare a backup strategy. So you have to back up everything so that in case you need to restore it. So you should have okay. And so if you're using the data grid broker or Calculus, that you have your configuration file. Okay, then this is the way how do you do it. You go to the how do you export it, basically how do you take a backup. So you connect to this thing and then export configuration. So basically you take everything on this file. Okay, and then you should have a pre-upgrade information tool checklist and installing the new Oracle database for single install. And you can use your common sense here, so you do not need to read this. And I hope like the people okay, you have to very much aware with the Oracle wallet. It's not that simple. You have to actually follow what is being written. So it says like then copy the SQL network. Basically, in the SQL network, you give the location of the wallet file, and you must copy because that's where and then you log in as an authorized user, manually copy it and the wallet file to the new release home. So SQL node.era will have the location of the wallet file. So you need to copy that SQL net.ora and the wallet file. Okay, and copy it to the new locations. Once, let me plug in my power source here. Okay, okay. So then you have to you if you have enabled the auto login wallet, copy the C wallet also. Okay, and then okay, you have to recommend it. So Yes. So this is what if it is, then you have to move it the same way. And these are meant for the incoming connections once from, and then SQL node, that is a different topic we can discuss sometime later. And okay, you have to check for the account that is gain sensitive. Okay, so what does it mean? Like the following is also this example. Jones was created in Oracle database 10G. Okay, that's right. And the password for Jones is set in Oracle 12C. When the setting for the SQL not allowed login version server was set to 8, as a result, the password reset all three versions. Use case sensitive password. Okay. So basically, what happened, that with this feature, it's a case sensitive. So for security purpose, if it is a capital letter, it will be capital. If it is small, small. Earlier, what happened? Like you can still use the capital and small together. Okay. And then this is a query which you need. So this is one of the important thing which you have to know it, although and make sure that we understand it. So I remember doing this, and for how do you do the upgrade with the read-only table spaces? So this is the okay, alter beginning. You find this which is the read-only. Okay, alter table space read-only, and then you have to follow the this thing. Okay, standard edition, availability, Oracle restart, Oracle real application cluster. So these are the different options for which 19c is available. So for rack, I know for HAS or real start you need to upgrade the grid to 19c, and then only you can have your database running. Okay, and if you're upgrading a known CDB Oracle data where Oracle Grid is deployed, then you must shut down and reconfigure it after conversion upgrade for the multi-tenant architecture. Okay, so basically these are the steps. So first you have to drop the Golden Grid user on the source database, then wait until the Oracle will finish the processing all the current DML, stop all Oracle Golden Gate processes, complete the conversion upgrade of the source non-CDB. The target restart your database, and if you are upgrading and then you reconfigure the Golden Gate. Okay, then what do you, this section talks about preparing the database rolling upgrade using the Oracle Data Guard. And we have just like 13 minutes more left, so I have to move a bit fast. Task before you start upgrade. Task during then you have to follow. Prepare the new Oracle home, and yeah, just keep on moving. We don't think the prerequisite to that what are the Windows system. I think I have not seen much the Windows system here. And this is the auto upgrade check. So basically, it want you that the database version, Java version should be you know should be this one 18.2, and then upgrade analyze mode. So first you run your auto upgrade like this. Basically, you analyze it. It generates a list of the file. Okay, this is your configuration file, and yeah, you go it, and then this is a UGP for the auto upgrade, UPG, yeah, UPG, yeah, right. And then you get a file like this. Then you in the analyze steps they review it. Then okay, you do the same. And this is the typical configuration for your CDB and a PDB setup, and you do the same in the configuration file. So based on that configuration, then you run the fix up mode, and fix up configuration, it will fix it up. And basically it will just fix the whatever the change can be fixed in the analyze steps. And then once this fix up is done, and okay, so okay, then you go to the deploy and then you go to the upgrade. Okay, so deploy is basically like putting things internally is a part of the auto upgrade phase, and then in the upgrade phase it upgrades. Okay, so requirement for upgrading, that is the label security and all. So there is a different requirement that uses the Oracle label security Oracle database vault. So yeah. So basically what happens, like how do you remember this? So there is nothing specific. So you start with the pre-checks, that is where the first steps, so you got to know what you need to do, okay? And from there, you do it the way it suggests. So you need to know these steps, these are like a standard. So okay, then how do you take the backup? So you're backupping the control file. Then okay, so now let's come to the auto upgrade part, and we will try to move it fast. And because we're just left with the 10 minutes, and okay, so you need to just remember analyze, fix, deploy, and upgrade. So that is the four steps of auto upgrade, and this is the command, and the version you need it 1.8. So this is what it's for Java. Okay, then there is an examples how do you do it, and there are the different scenarios. So you can review based on your requirement. So let's move fast, and then these are the things you need to understand. So this is like prefix, drain, TB upgrade, post check, post check, post upgrade. These are the steps and here also the steps. So if you read it, what is the steps? So major is this, and then inside has the following stages. Okay, how it is done. Okay, this what is the processing mode. So okay, you do not need to remember this. So the thing is only need to remember analyze, fix, deploy, and upgrade. That's it. That's what it is. If somebody asks you in an interview process, and that's it. And then you need to know the stages. And rest is the similar thing you can speak. So basically, I remember, yes, this is the one. If you just remember this, I think you're done. So when you go to deploy, it will do all the things which is done it here. So when you go to fix up, it will do the steps for analyze and then do the fix up. When you go to deploy, it will do the steps still here, and then you can upgrade. It will just run the setup and then restart from the debugger. So this is the important diagram, and if you run this, then you're good. So let's move fast. I think we are just left with the 9 minutes. I will not continue more than 40 minutes. So let me just try to move it fast and yeah, and okay. Mm, about these are the different steps. Yes, that's what I was speaking of. And then let's move. And then what you say, understanding the non-zero with auto upgrade. So you can just conceptually understand it, how to do it, and that is the same thing. That it will the steps will be always same, and then there are the commands, and you can just go with the CDB level, and it will upgrade the PDB also based on your configuration file. If you do not put your PDB names in the configuration file, it will not go ahead. Okay, and let's see, locally modify. Okay, can these things you need not. If you want to do research, that's fine, but from the interview perspective, you do not have to remember it. I'm going to say just you need to understand how the CDB and a PDB is upgraded using an auto upgrade, how the normal database is upgraded, the steps are analyzed, fix up, deploy, and upgrade, and then there are based on that diagram. So based on that diagram, you can speak, and I think like that is more than enough for an interview perspective. So I'm just trying to review from the interview perspective. Else, if you want to do a research, you can just go ahead and read it, but I don't think that will make any sense because at the end of the day, you would be doing the four steps itself. Okay. Export, import. Okay, so I'm just scrolling the fastest manner and just trying to see if there is something that we can discuss because we're just left with another like 5 to 7 minutes, and I do not want to go into the next video to review it, and I can take another document for next 40 minutes to review. So in this case, I'm just trying to make it move fast, and I see like these are something you get to read when you do it, and you actually do not do it all the time. So okay. Okay. Unplugging the earlier. Okay, so these are the different scenarios. So generally, what I've seen, most of the setups remain not that complicated. Okay, in a typical scenario, you can have these options, but it will remain more, functional wise. So what does it mean? That most of the time, you for a good organization, there will be a separate thing database, and it will go one to one. And these scenarios are there you can think of, and but it does not require that you would be actually doing this scenario. So what I'm doing in a fast review, like that if you understand the conceptually, that makes sense, and rest is just that you need to get hold of the document and prepare it. Okay, and okay, so what this is say. So this is, I think, we are just left with another some. Okay, I've not seen much for transport part, trust me. I think this may be so generally Linux is the hotcake, and so most of the things runs on Linux. So I've never seen from Solaris or Linux right now. But in that case, you go for a transportable tablespace. So this is the guide, you can refer it, or you can have an Oracle support about the if you face an issue. So Oracle database upgrade mode, Oracle mode, DBA registry, pre-upgrade rule, number of the processes, and start option, locations about a upgrade mode. Then you get a errors. So some are like a predefined, and then you can just work on that. And these are the different scenarios. So you do not have to actually understand different scenarios. And the most of the time, if you have all actually followed the post steps, or the pre steps checks, and you have done with all the analyzed reports and the fix up steps, you would be should be good. And until unless your machine does not get shut down, I have seen like it do take time to complete, but it does complete it. It will just fail for the last part of the post refresh, which is like a sort of a bug or something. But generally, most of the things get goes, and it does take time. 19C upgrade, that's what I can say. I have been into a couple of the migrations and I've seen it, and actually I was the implementer, and it took me like 6 to 7 hours to get it done. And okay, so moving to next. I do not see there are certain recommendations that So the most of the things you need to know. What apart from practical experience, I'm telling the thing is like you need to know that you should have a good space on the server. You should have your proper temper space design, and you should know about the compatible parameter. Then the password this thing, yeah, the password case sensitivity, and then you need to know analyze, fix, deploy, and upgrade. And if you're a wallet, you have to copy the SQL Aura file. You have to call it the wallet file. If you have done the auto login, you have to get the CSW. And then there are certain things like cluster underscore data that plays an important part, because most of the time what happens if you open the cluster underscore database parameters equal to true, the Oracle will try to use the other instances, and if you do, and generally it fails up because it won't be able to find, because the parallel part automatically which happen underscore cluster underscore database based on the cluster underscore database parameter will not be work out. So the thing is like always go with the cluster of false, not always, but sometimes I'm giving an example from export import. I think import I ran it just failed. I was like wondering what happened after so long time. I ran the import command and IMPDP, and it failed because my cluster underscore database parameter was so, and I did not put the cluster is equal to no in my par file. And so as a result, then I realized why happening that the file is not found error. And then after I think spending 30 minutes, I got to know, oh, this is what the wrong, and then I corrected it because everything was there in place. So that was one of the finding that I had it. Okay. So now change the application to use the new Oracle pre-compiler. So these are the different scenarios. So what I would suggest, like, how do you downgrade? So I've not seen a downgrade an actual prod, because the testings are done so extensively, so that like once the upgrade is done, it does involve the times, and also everything goes in. Okay, so there are defined yeah, there are the defined steps to downgrade, but I would suggest that better go with the Oracle support and take this thing. So, or else you can have your document. So basically, in this, what you do, you just revert back everything to back whatever it was. And there is one component, time zone, that plays an important part. I've seen in most of the upgrade and migration that the time zone has to be 14. So this is one of the feature, which Oracle emphasized at the last, that if it is not up to the mark, you need to upgrade it. So that is something you need to take care of it. And then okay, so I think we are left with another 2 minutes. I will try to move it fast. And so these are just additional options, but these are not something that you need to learn. If you have a time, go with it. But I think this should be okay to skip. And there is an option, how do you do with the database link? And trust me, nobody does it. So better they will do it, copy paste and do it, because who want to take the risk? If the network link gets slows, where do they, at least if it is on the same server, once it locally, the things can be fast, right? So these are the options available. But if you're able to, just establish the connection, the basic flowchart remains the same. Simple. Okay. Then these are the feature which has been deprecated. So no need to remember. If you can, you can. But okay, let's move here fast, and we'll try to just I have just like a 1 minute left, and we'll go fast. And these are the additional things, once you, and so in order to remember this, you can just talk about what are the new feature that has come in. So everybody is more focused and interested in learning the new feature rather than, getting into the old feature. So, okay, then fleet management, we talked about what it does. Like you copy the binaries on one of the servers, and then you upgrade it using the RHPCTL from the, so basically one of the server, and this RHPCTL makes a connection, copies it, does all your work. And you can, so basically it's like a central distributed server sort of. So in the, okay, so now I have another 40 seconds left, and I'll try to Do not go past, and that's what. Okay, so rest other thing is not that important from the upgradation. So only thing what you can remember from the auto upgrade, how it works and how do it was for the CDB and non CDB. There are four steps: analyze, fix up, deploy, and uh, upgrade. Okay, so just you need to know this. Rest is just like if you want to cross check about the particular issues and functions, you need to look into it. Okay, so I think we are almost completed, and let's meet you in the next video. Thank you.